Part 2 to my bus conversion. I'm so excited to show you guys everything that I've gotten done in this episode. In this episode I work on getting the flooring done, the insulation, the next level of flooring, and then also the walls and a little bit of the ceilings. So there's a lot of ripping apart, a lot of building up, and a lot of cutting. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I did making it. So much for being here and watching this episode. It truly means the world that you are supporting me and find interest in everything that I'm creating. If you want to follow more, please subscribe to my channel, and please like this video if you liked it, and also comment and let me know what you like the most about it. I had to make sure that none of the very bottom flooring of the bus were moldy, anything rotting away. So the very back right corner, I had to take out a piece of the flooring and put a new one in there. So that's the first part, is all about cutting into that. You can tell in the video that there's a lot of bolts that were stripped, and there's a lot of things that we had to tear apart to get to the bottom, but we finally got it. So yeah. By all the flames, I had to go in there also and cut a bunch of the screws again because they were sticking out, and it would have affected the way that the flooring was put in again. We got the hole out, the moldy wood. So glad that is out. I need to more rust. I need to scrape some of the rust out from underneath there and put some rust resistant on it, and then after that, I'm gonna start making some flooring. End up getting any footage of me cutting the very bottom flooring, except for this measurement piece right here. So look at the sunset real quick. Firstly, gorgeous. That's my view out of my bus every morning or every day. Anyways, I wanted to show it to you guys. It was fun being able to like cut wood and like figure all that out. So let's go. Okay, so you walk in, and then the first one, which is the last one that I did, I just got done with it, is this guy. And it was so challenging. Here, I'll see if I can pull it up, because it was a cut like that at the end. So that was kind of challenging, but it was fun. And it fits pretty good. I'm not a woodworker. But then we got the two big guys right here that fit in flush and perfectly. And then you go over here. This was the second hardest one. This one literally just fit from an extra cut I did, which was great. This is the gas pipe. And so this one we had to just pop some wood off. We had to fit this one kind of weird too. But we got it for the most part. We pulled that guy up and put a new one right there too, and got these two little guys right there. Since this flooring is the last piece until you get to the underneath of the bus, it's going to be exposed to the elements and water flowing, like coming up from the wheels and everything. So I wanted to make sure that they were securely good for that, and they wouldn't rot or they wouldn't get moldy or anything. So I'm putting this latex paint on the bottom of all of the pieces, just so that they are waterproof and don't get moldy or anything. They're protected.
Guys, I'm driving home right now, and I just got so much wood for free from this guy on Facebook Marketplace. This is probably all the wood I'm gonna need for the rest of my build, and that is insane. Thank you, universe. Thank you, guy, with the free wood.
Just want to give you guys a little update. Trying to put all my flooring in because I'm excited for that part. And the like 600 screws that I got aren't long enough, so I'm gonna have to figure something else out for that. And it's just not working how I want it to be. That's okay. I'm just gonna leave for now, go do my thing, go have a nice day. It's kind of cloudy out, but it feels really good. So we're just gonna figure this out later. There's no need to stress over it, no need to like get all butthurt about it. It's not happening for a reason, and just gotta have to go with that. So I will update you guys later. Okay, so I went and got the right screws, and they're already working perfectly, so let's do it. I ended up getting some self-tapping screws, so what I'm doing is screwing in the plywood pieces into the metal framing of the bottom of the bus. And this took a while because the metal framing is pretty hard, but I got it. It wasn't too bad. Next part of the video, I wanted to explain really quick what I'm doing. So you know the very bottom base layer I just put on in the video, and then after that I have an inch or 2 pieces of 1/2 inch foam that I'm going to be putting underneath that, and then another piece of plywood on top of that, so it's kind of like a sandwich. But in between I also had to have these furring strips, and they're kind of like grid lines, so that the foam isn't getting all the impact of the wood when I step on it, but there's little grids in there to hold up everything. So that's what I'm doing in this next part. And I couldn't find any pieces of wood that were skinny and also an inch thick, because I needed it to be an inch because the foam is an inch. So I had to end up getting 5-inch thick wood, or 5-inch long wood, and cut 5 different strips out of it so that it would be 5 inches thick on all of them. And so that's what I'm doing in this portion of the video. Working on putting those pieces that I just cut on the most outer parts of the bus as a perimeter for the rest of the grid lines. I'm putting all the pieces down where they're going to go, and then marking it up so that I can go and cut them into the right measurements. And then starting at the outermost edges of the entire bus, if you are doing this, because it just makes it a lot easier when you're going in to do the grid lines, and the measurements are just a lot easier as well. The video, I'm starting to put out the grid lines. I started off with 2 or 3 long strips going all the way down the bus, and then I'm going to work my way out from that. I found it easier to do that, and then instead of having a bunch of small pieces, working with the biggest areas or biggest length first, and then doing the smaller pieces off of that. You are working on a bus as well, or you are planning on doing it. The biggest tip I have for this part of the bus conversion, of doing the grid lines, is that I would, which I didn't do and I wish I did it, was measure out the distance between each of the grid lines to be pretty exact to the other ones, because once you have to cut the actual foam, it makes it much easier, much more efficient, and it's not as tricky to do. I went to cut all of the foam pieces. I ended up having to cut a bunch of random sizes, when instead you could have like 1 or 2 universal sizes that you do for all of it, and it just makes the cutting of the foam much quicker. Guys, I am so excited. I just got done with all the gridding. There's one left that I have to do, but I have to do it a little bit later because something's in the way. Anyways, look at it! Like, actually, it's starting to look like this is one of the big things at the very beginning. that will make the bus look so much like actually like something I'm about to live in. Because beforehand it didn't. But I'm gonna get some insulation in here and then put another layer on top of it, and the floor will be done. Woo-hoo. Research with bus conversions, I heard a lot that the bottom insulation doesn't matter as much, and so I ended up just getting the cheapest stuff I could find. It was $7 for one of those big strips, and I think I got 6 of them, and I got 6 of them because I'm going to be doubling them. So they are R2, so when I put 2 together it makes an R4, which I don't really know exactly what that means, but it is the amount of insulation that it can hold, or like that it rejects, if that makes sense. And so the bottom of the bus doesn't matter as much, but I'm going to do something much stronger on the sides and the top. Hey guys, so I'm going to be finishing the flooring today. I'm pretty much done. It's been a process because I've had to do 2 layers. But I wanted to show you guys because I forgot to film yesterday. I ended up sealing all the windows, which was much needed because it's been leaking. So, as you can see, I'm not the best caulker in the world, but I don't even know if you can see it that well. But I caulked it and everything, and the caulk that I used looks really good and looks like it's stuck everything pretty well, and so I'm really happy for that because I don't want any more leaks in my house. Getting this foam was much cheaper than my other options, which I am trying to do things at a very price efficient way. It was a little taxing to have to cut double the amount of foam because I was doing 2 layers. So that's just something that you might take into consideration when you are doing your bus build. If you want to just have one piece of foam that is an inch thick or whatever thickness you're doing, I would recommend that for ease. Finally done with the flooring and on to the next layer of the sandwich of the flooring. And so with this part, I wanted to have the biggest piece, the most sturdy piece of wood in the very middle because that's where I'm going to be walking the most. And so I wanted to get that down and then work around that. This helps with not having to worry about cracks in the middle to where if I step on it, it makes a noise or it sinks down a little bit. I just wanted it to be sturdy and not have any bending or any flexing in it. I finished. Here, I'll show you guys this up. I finished my flooring! This took a while. This is a little challenging. Obviously there's going to be vinyl flooring on top of all this, but I got the flooring done! That is such a massive step in this. I'm so excited. I just wanted to show you guys what I'm going to be doing. I just pressure washed the ceiling, or the top. It's gross, but she's clean now. And now, I haven't told you guys about this yet. Sorry, I gotta sneeze. But, you see all this right here? There's more underneath there, and under here, and right there. So, I'm gonna drill some holes in the plexiglass, because what it is plexiglass, then the mold, and then wood. So, I can't just like scrape it or spray it. So I have to drill into the plexiglass and then spray some bleach up there, and then I'm going to go over with some sealant paint and just go with that so it doesn't like get in anywhere, you know. So yeah. This probably wasn't my brightest idea. I ended up trying to spray bleach into tiny holes above me, and so bleach was just running down my arms, getting on my clothes, getting on my face. I think we had glasses on, but I realized that I should have just went to the top and sprayed into the holes from the top of the bus, and so it just trickled down instead of trickling all over my body. I'm starting to work on the walls. For this part, if you see in the bus, there are like columns of metal strips that are supporting the walls, and so what I'm doing is I'm cutting little furring strip pieces of wood, kind of like their grid lines on the bottom of the bus, so that I can screw those into the metal pieces so that it is easier for me to attach anything onto the walls after that.
Okay, I wanted to document this because to show you guys, because it's going to be harder to explain it than just to show you. And so I put it up against the wall, and look at that. The wall is more bent than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to have to figure out how to bend the wood to do this as well. I think I have an idea that I saw on YouTube, so I'll let you know if that works out for me. Thank you, YouTube. So what I did was I cut little ribs in the wood, and so when I put it up to the wall, I can bend it, and now it's flush with the metal. Woo! So yesterday, me and my dad ended up doing a lot behind. Wait, don't look at it yet. I forgot to film, but we got all that done. Ba-ba-da-da. So we got most of the furring strips up. We got all the big pieces going. I just had to finish doing all these side pieces down there and over here. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. We ended up breaking a bunch of bits because it's pretty challenging getting into this metal. So yeah, let's get into it. So what I've been doing is using this crazy tool and drilling a hole into the wood back there, and then screwing a screw through the wood into the metal.
Alright, so that is the end of part 2 of my bus conversion. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that if you are wanting to build a bus, this was helpful for you, and also if you're just watching this for entertainment, then that's awesome too, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like this, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I would love the support, and also so you can stick around for the journey and be here for part 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Woo! So I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!